Good evening. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope you guys are doing good. Bear with me while I get everything on. It I know it's Friday. Don't want to get you too deep into something heavy, but most of the time everybody's like, thank God it's Friday. And what that usually entails is decompressing from all of the things that you guys had go on during the week. Looking forward to the 48 hours that you have off over the next couple of days. So, definitely welcome to Friday. But we are going to get into something that is, I would say, is important. We talked about it a little bit yesterday when we talk about your one of the stages in regards to the 6 steps you need to move abroad. And you get into one of the stages and you realize that you are going to be faced with getting rid of everything that you have. And I don't mean everything down to the little thing. I mean everything that you needed in America to make your life comfortable. If I had to tell most people that, most of us, and this may be excessive, but if you had to get your life down to three check bags, let's call them 50 pounds apiece, one carry on, and one book bag, what would you take? And that is a very difficult scenario for a lot of people in the United States. And the reason why is because the value of your success has been a lot of times on accumulation. What you can afford, what you have accumulated, whether those be clothes, bags, shoes, these things are all material things that often showcase value in the United States. One of the things I say, Americans love to wear their bank account on their body. Oh, this Rolex. If you see the Rolex, you can tell if you know Rolexes that not only is this real, but it tells you certain kind of Rolex will tell you how much somebody spent on it. Or Mercedes Benz, or a BMW, Maserati, Rolls Royce, Bentley, all material things that will tell somebody what your status is. Oftentimes, we consider that that person has made it once they've gotten these material things. And we're not even talking about just the stuff that you have, the average American, but we're talking about the lofty goals. We even say that because even the average American strives. One day I'm going to get me a BMW or Mercedes Benz, and maybe one day you do get it. But like the rest of all the material things, whether they be electronics, whatever, they all wear off. The newness wears off. And we would think with repeated behavior of buying, buying, and buying again, and looking for that factor, that newness. I got something new, and knowing what that feels like, but knowing how fleeting it is, that you or any of us would have done something different. Would have said, okay, I'm not buying any more things. You know why? I don't need it. But that doesn't happen, does it? And it's okay. I get it. One of the things my dad tells me all the time is he says to himself, or says to me, I'm going to do some retail therapy. You guys know what retail therapy is? I'm certain, I'm certain that you may have actually been in position to be a part of the retail therapy. Retail therapy is, you had a bad day. And it's weird because retail therapy can be a bad thing and a good thing. It's a celebration or, a sort of reward for this bad thing happening. So retail therapy is, I need to go. I got some new money. I got paid today. I want to go buy some new clothes, some new shoes, a new hat, something. Or I had a bad week. And you know what will make me happy? Getting some new clothes or a new something. It's a double-edged sword. But retail therapy is such a thing in the United States that so many people have gotten used to. The act of consuming and buying is really important, I would say, to be an American. I feel like they've done. I was watching the TV the other day. And even though I live abroad, I've got like YouTube TV, so I still see localized channels. And I was like, there's a Labor Day sale? Like, can the average American tell you what Labor Day is like, what it is commemorating? And if they can, great. But what is the point of a Labor Day celebration with an incentivization to spend money? Think about all of the holidays that they have now incentivized to only spend more money. Never mind Christmas. We'll get to that one. What is a President's Day sale? You guys see them. You guys are so incentivized to spend money that you may go, I want to go buy this particular item because it's on sale for my favorite president, because they're giving me sales because it's a holiday. Let's celebrate, right? Celebration means buy more things. That is the American way. If you guys don't realize that, that is where we are. The celebration of buying more things. And when you go to move abroad, you realize, when you sit with all your things, because, you got to realize what you don't know what to take. Maybe this is your first real move. This is maybe it's the first time you pack 3 check bags and a carry-on. What does that look like? Do you take pictures? Do you take trinkets that you have that remind you of friends or family? What about books? I was a very big physical medium person. I had a record player with different vinyls I had. I had a library of different books. I don't really like reading on a tablet. Do you take those books? But you only have 50 pounds. Imagine if you're a person that has a big shoe. I wear a size 12. How many shoes can you take? All the belts and all of the bags and all of the t-shirts, and your consideration, if you what if you go into a place as a destination, as you're abroad country, and they have 4 seasons. How do you pack 4 seasons of wear in the 3 bags? What is your plan to maybe take some of this stuff, leave some of the stuff in storage, but are you going to go get the biggest storage unit and just say, okay, let me just put everything that I'm not taking in storage? How long before that gets a little overwhelming to have to continue to maintain that and go back and touch things to get things out? Or you're just this point, once you realize that a lot of people, when they go to move abroad and they've got their storage starts to continuously shrink. It shrinks and shrinks and shrinks until it's like the most basic stuff. Like, I will tell you, from 3 years ago, I've gotten rid of a lot of things. I went from like a 10 by 10 to like 10 by 5 or something like that. And that is continuously like dwindling, because the likelihood of me going back, considering that I've been gone for this long, I've got like coats and things in that nature. But and like some of the pictures and things that I didn't take. But when you get down to it, you realize like you're going to be in a really tough scenario because you put so much value into the stuff and things you've accumulated. And one of the things I tell people is the most overwhelming portion of this entire process, I personally think, it's not deciding where to go, it's not even getting there and getting acclimated. I think it's really cutting the anchors of the stuff and things, cutting the anchors of your car note. Maybe you own a house. These anchors, so when we talk about decluttering your life, it's these anchors that I'm talking about. That is declutter. It could be both, like I said, physical trinkets, clothes, shoes. It can be, obligations that you have. You might even have family obligations. And not to say this in a negative way, but can be seen as anchors too. And that is the most overwhelming scenario, because when faced with having to clip all of them at the same time, when you're at a crossroads of, do I continue down the road and continuously get what it is that I have? Or do I do something completely different? Am I willing to do something completely different to get something completely different? I don't want this anymore, but what am I willing to leave? You can get overwhelmed. I asked all my friends that have moved. Was I the only one? Was I the only one that went through this overwhelming filming feeling when faced with narrowing down all of the things that I could take? Because I told you I didn't have like an all white pair of shoes, an all black pair of shoes. Nah, nah. I had shoes with this color on there, and it goes with this shirt. These shoes go with this shirt. And this is just fringe level stuff. Never mind the pictures. Pictures of people that are no longer here. How do you remember the people when you're in a whole different place and you're looking for things that will remind you of home or familiar faces that will remind you of home? Yes, you have your phone, but I always, it depends on who you are. I'm a I've got a picture of my family in the house, got a picture of my dog. These things are important to me. But I don't have many other pictures. But the one family picture has almost everybody in there. So you have to consider what these things look like because you cannot take it all. In the moment that you realize that you have spent a lot of your life consuming, you have spent a lot of your life accumulating, and that you're at the point in your life where these things, the value that they had, you realize that you spent a very big portion of your life on things that no longer matter to you. And when you sit there and you feel overwhelmed about it, you need to take some time. It's okay. I'm not saying it's not overwhelming and it's not something to not lean into, but embrace and understand, it is a crossroad. Doing that, it made me feel overwhelmed. But I really had to look at it and say, well, the only way I keep these things if I stay exactly here, and that is going to allow me to keep these things. What is my goal? I told you guys yesterday, writing your wants down, as far as what you want from the place that you're looking for and what you are giving up. I knew exactly what it was that I wanted and what I wanted to give up. And I knew that if this and these things, or a car, or friendships, it it was, I couldn't put that over what it is that I needed for my life. And I was had a conversation with one of my homegirls, Bintu from high school. She actually lives in Qatar, and I know I'm saying that wrong. It's just probably a little bit easier. I think it's Qatar. Pero, I say that is because she has been living abroad for, I feel like we left around the same time. We're in opposite places, but left around the same time. And I bring this conversation up is because she mentioned something in that convo, and this is another portion of decluttering your life scenario. And it happens whether you leave the United States or not, but it could be a little bit more abrupt. Um, you can run into a scenario where your lack of proximity to friends and or family can change relationships. So, you know, um, I haven't lived in Philadelphia pretty much since I was 18. I think I lived there maybe 2 years, 1 year separate in between now and 18. So that's 20 years. For the other 18 years, I have been out of Philadelphia. So my friends and my family would I would say they're used to me being not in Philadelphia. However, that dynamic in some areas, friends and family, changed completely once I fully committed to being out of the United States. Even though I was 1 hour off, even though in some places and most of the places my friends live, I was a direct flight away. The same amount of time, or they weren't taking the flight, I was. And I saw so many things change. And that was one of the things that we talk about, getting out the USA, getting from clutter to clarity. Everything I'm talking to you about is clearing out what you need in your life versus what you don't need that you still have hold on. So what happens is you go and make some direct decisions. You make direct decisions about what clothes and what things you're doing and what you're going to do with your car and what you're going to do with your house. Those are direct decisions. But there's another decluttering process that I'm just hinting on, which is, how relationships can change. Some relationships can get even stronger because of distance, because they're inquisitive about what you're doing. Other things can change in a way where they're like, well, he's always on the other side of TSA. I didn't want to bother him. Some people will also be in a scenario where you could be exploring, talking to them about some of the experiences you're having. And it could come off as bragging. I remember Bentu said that, I told my friends, I went here and it was cool and I didn't have to do this. And I could tell they're the way that they were responding and or not was like they weren't impressed. And I wasn't trying to impress them. I was just telling them something cool. And she was like, I was able to see. And I've been able to say that, not just her experience, but I've been able to see some of those things. And those are the things about the decluttering, that this is so many of the 6 steps happen both when and before you leave. And then there's so many things that happen when you get to where your location is that I can do my best to prepare you for. But there's things that just have to happen in you to see them, for you to understand. Like, you start with your physical stuff, but then the decluttering process takes a different turn. And I wouldn't say a bad turn, but I would say it takes a different turn. That turn can be a turn where things change in a way that you didn't expect it. Somebody said they can't hear me. I think everybody can hear me. I can see my I can see my thing going. So yeah, must have been that person. I don't see anybody else say anything. So the decluttering process, it is one of the things that deserves its own day, because nobody usually goes about telling you what this looks like. It's tough. I always say, it takes a strong person to be open and honest about what they are going through, and sharing it with others. Some people will share it in a way where they're looking for sympathy. Others may be taking the iron sharpens iron scenario and being like, I'm sharing this because I think that this could possibly help you. And I just want to make sure that, I'm not going crazy. And what I often find is a lot of people are going through similar things. A lot of people are going through similar things, yet because of America is very like, you got to go to work every day. Boom, 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 boom. Go to work, come home, go to work again. 48 hours off, go back to work. And that 48 hours off is kind of like a scam, because Saturday, if you're an adult, you probably wake up and have 1,000 things to do. If you have children, you're not sleeping in. Like, that 48 hours is really all a Sunday. And if you go to church, how many hours are we talking about now? But you guys run into these scenarios, and it's like you look up and it's just life can be seemingly passing you by. In the moment that you go take the grips with, getting out of the United States, decluttering your life, you run into all of these challenges that you did not expect. People, and then using colloquial terms, but throwing shade or hating, thinking that where you think you're going, you think that you're going to a third world country. Like, you will get all of these. And the decluttering process comes with a lot of interesting interactions from people that you know. Now, maybe the people you know that you don't know, they probably don't know what's going on with you. But the people you know, these are all interesting things that you have to go about looking at also, because most people won't say anything. They just walk around in America like everything's fine. Everything's fine. How you doing? Fine. Nobody asks you how you're doing and really wants to hear how you're doing. So everybody walks around like this. But in the reality of it is, not everything is okay. And that's why many people are looking into conversations like this, because that decluttering process is the most untalked about, biggest elephant in the room. I can walk you through any step, but I cannot prepare you for what it is that I don't know in regards to how the people around you are going to react to this, how you're going to respond to no longer valuing the things that you have put so much value in. I can only prepare you. You have to do this. You have to have that conversation. I told you guys yesterday, they put the TV show Hoarders on American television, strictly because they wanted to make you feel better. They showed you extreme cases of hoarding, just so you could say, well, I've never been like that. And some of you have. Some of you watching this probably have. But for the ones that didn't not consider themselves a hoarder, I always challenge you. And if you haven't, Good for you. But the likelihood of you have never saying this is unlikely. So if you get into your house and you went into an apartment and you go to move, not move abroad, but you went to go move to a neighborhood, a different city, different state, whatever the case is, you had to pack everything up in your house, all of the things you own, and then you had to get it back together as if you were never there. You remember that? And do you remember those fateful words you said? Do you remember? When did I get all of this stuff? I'm packing up so many boxes. I grabbed 20 boxes. I thought that was going to be good, but I'm 18 boxes in, and this is still a pile of things here. Yeah, you, you bought it. I'm telling you, these things are all reality. It's because you're in America. Most Americans aren't taught to live minimalist. They're not even given the opportunity to feel like that is the right way to live. Everything is a purchase. Everything is a purchase. Valentine's Day purchase. Martin Luther King Day sales purchase. What is it? St. Patty's Day. I'm sure they got a sale for that. If not, it's a reason to go patronize a bunch of bars and restaurants for whatever reason possible. April is Easter. April or May, depending on that's Easter, but May is definitely Memorial Day. Memorial Day sales. Then you've got June, which now has become Juneteenth, and you start seeing things pop out like that. July is obviously the 4th. August is my birthday. I don't think everybody in the world celebrates that, but maybe you get a break in August. But here comes Labor Day, then Halloween, then Thanksgiving, and then December, and we do it all over again. They've given you a month, a sale for every month, a sale for every month. So when you go and you continuously buy these things over the years, you're going to run into this scenario so many of us have. What do I take? And the thing with most people, the number one mistake I think most people do when looking to downsize is thinking that things are important that they aren't. I was on with Mike from the Caribbean Shipper, and Caribbean Shipper is a company that literally you can ship anything down to South Florida to them, and they will get it to your door in Mexico or Latam, which is Latin America. And he was talking to me about helping people move, and they were like, "Well, I want my refrigerator shipped. I want my family heirloom dresser shipped. This bed that I bought shipped." Well, no, don't think you guys know how much it costs to ship things, especially it's weighed by one, it's calculated by one weight and then two value. So you got one, the cost of shipping something from a weight perspective. But if it has a certain value, there's, excuse me, also import taxes that you have to take into consideration. You guys been hearing about import taxes. Well, they do exist out of the United States, 100% certain. I think you starting to see tariffs hit the shelves as far as on the shelves as the prices. These things are real. That's why when I saw them, I said, "Oh, you guys are going to learn what it is that I've learned quickly living abroad." Like, yes, things cost money to be imported. That is why a 35-inch TV in the United States in the past used to be like $100. In Colombia, that TV could be like $400, like $350 for just a little 32-inch TV. So these things are going to be important to know because you cannot take everything. And so many people are in a position where, like, well, I'll just ship it off. I'll just pay for the extra bags. You show up like Akeem and Simi coming to America in the airport with bags galore. You are going to look crazy. I'm just going to let you know. Even a 3 bags is a lot. Imagine you have multiple people with 3 bags and one carry-on piece. 3 people. What is that going to look like? You're going to look like you're like, first of all, immigration is going to stop you regardless because that's a lot of bags. And they're going to say, well, what do you have in these bags? You might say nothing. You're going to go search for that. So that is one of the biggest mistakes that so many people in this decluttering process, they look like, well, I'll just take it all. No. I've given you 3 check bags and one carry-on. If you can't fit it in there, I'm going to tell you that maybe you should stay because that is more important than a life that you could live. I would assume it wouldn't be, but who knows? Now, one thing I will tell you, I tried to get rid of so many things. My homegirl Tisha, she moved to Santa Marta. She said she had a goal of 10 grand. She sold everything in her house, and once she got to 10 grand, she was like, everything can go. You can get it, come get it for free. Who knows what you have in the house if it has $10,000 worth of value, but I am telling you, once you determine what that cut is, you go into a warm place, you put your winter coat and your sweaters and all that stuff in your storage, put whatever you've deemed storage worthy in there, and then you've got this big pile of other stuff. Yes, you can take the due diligence of flea market and everything else, but honestly, just get rid of it. You don't need it. You've got a new life. Those are anchors. Look at that entire pile. Like, these are going to keep me there. Listen, I'm going to leave these where they are. And if anybody wants them, please have at them. They're a part of a life that I no longer live. That is the best attitude to take. It's going to take you a while. I know. Even 3 years out, I still fight with some urges. I get it. You're not going to be perfect, but you need to lock in because you will be stuck in America with all of your stuff and broke as hell, unhappy, 48 hours, and you got to go back to work. Like, this is definitely something. And, be realistic. I tell you this because I told you I started with a 10 by 10 storage. I didn't need 10 by 10 worth of stuff, but I still had a big old 65-inch TV, had two bikes, like tents, and I had a bunch of stuff that I was still like, even with the cut down, I still had a lot of problems. But you got to realize that you're going to have to pay for that storage. And the way that storage works, it's like, oh, I've been going for 3 years, so the storage unit has been the exact same price. No, they keep trying to raise it, and then you got to move the storage. And it's like you got to fly back to make certain that your stuff doesn't end up on, what is that, Pawn Wars, auction, whatever that is on TLC, because they will go cut your lock off and all your stuff will be gone. Maybe that's what you want to do at this point. Like, I need my coat and my scarf and my hat and my gloves in case somebody needs me to come to Philadelphia in the wintertime. But all my friends know, like, don't invite me anywhere that is cold. You better have a very compelling reason to do so. But this is what's left in my storage after 3 years. And I've got some other things, but it's just like at this point, I can literally get rid of 90% of what is in there. And I'm probably going to do that relatively soon. So, yes, I am talking from somebody that still does have a storage. But I'm saying, like, this process isn't going to happen overnight. You've been in the United States for the last 30 plus years, I'm assuming. You think that you are all of a sudden just going to just go right to shedding all of what you've learned all of this time? Have some grace with yourself. It's okay. Now, so many people ask, have I ever left something behind that I regretted? Um, no, no. I think I'm very intentional about the things that I've taken. Mostly the things I left are shoes. Um, I got to think maybe one or two books that I want to take out of there that I haven't read that I bought before I left and I just didn't read them. But then I'm like, okay, so I'm going to read these in a couple of days, and then now I'm just carrying books around the world. Like, um, this question makes me think of when I was in high school. When I was in high school, I went to a 2 years at a public high school, 2 years at a Christian high school, and the second half, I remember 11th grade, my Bible teacher, Mr. Kunkel. Mr. Kunkel asked the class. He asked the class, if the house was on fire. Um, I'm pretty sure. What do you guys think that I would run in the house and go get? And being 16, 17 years old, I'm pretty sure the whole class was like, "Your Bible. We know you. You're gonna go get your Bible." And I think he chuckled and was like, "No." He went around and asked a bunch of people. And all of them couldn't think of anything that wasn't really like the Bible worth running in that wasn't a family member or a pet or something. And he ended with the one thing that I would run into the house once my family, my animals were safe, would be my pictures. And I don't have any regrets about any pictures that I have because I have small versions of pictures in travel, like a travel size way, so I can have them. But those things, I will tell you, are going to be, I want to say a lifeline, but I will tell you, similar to the why you're leaving and where you're going and what you're looking for, familiar faces, friendly faces, depending on who you are. I've got a number of people that have passed that seeing their face reminds me of my journey and my mission that I'm on. Reminds me of the things they've taught me. These things can be important. Now, I've done my best to have these things in proximity in a way where I can either travel with them, where they don't take up much space, or they're like, I have it in my wallet or in my book bag that comes with me. Like, but some of the things that you think of that you would go are going to miss aren't really what you're going to miss. Once you go look at those things and see these pictures, you're going to remember the memories that you had, not just with people that passed. Like I said, relationships, dynamics change. You might have been traveling around so much that you haven't seen your family in a while. Well, and that doesn't mean that your family won't still get together without you. It's just going to be like, man, I wish you were here. Looking at these things can also help you ground yourself. So I think not a regret because I did it, but one of the biggest things I think people will regret is prioritizing the back massager and the foot rub thing and putting that in your bag to go versus pictures and things that will help your energy. Because what's going to happen is your energy is kind of bland in America. I'll be honest with you. It's tuned to money, and I get it. It needs to be. But when I say tuned to money, I mean this in a way where it's going to always be on the top of your forehead. Like, I need money. I need money. I need money. Whereas, yes, you don't need money abroad, pero the amount of money that you need is not the same amount of money that you need in the United States. So your energy may no longer be tuned and so focused on making money to feel like there's happiness in that. I know you may have never been given the opportunity to feel that. I understand. But talking to many of my friends that are expats as well from America, this was the first time they didn't feel like this was all that they were worth. They felt like they were actually able to tap in and tune in to things that they didn't even know that they were into, or they were able to re-tap in. I talked to you guys about your hobbies and when the last time you've done that. These were things that going abroad allowed them to do. The energy. A lot of people come to Colombia, they're like, man, I was, this is my story too. And it's funny because it's like a blanket statement, but this happens. Oh, I was only going to come to Medellin for 3 months, but then I got here and I haven't been here for 3 years. I saw that on the internet today, and I was like, I didn't tell nobody that, but that's what happens. The energy that you feel here once you're unburdened by the things that weigh down on you, and you're able to declutter your life from all these physical anchors and some of these other things. People like, oh, you don't miss driving? What are you talking about? Do I miss driving? Do I miss driving? You driving me crazy asking me if I miss driving. Like, I was in South Florida. Speed limit 70 miles an hour. People going 95. It's Tuesday morning. No, I don't miss any of that. I don't miss that feeling that I have when I go outside and the uncertainty thing. I don't miss that. These things I don't miss, and the energy I'm able to not utilize on making sure that I'm always safe in the United States and making sure that I didn't go into the wrong grocery store and the person had a problem. Like, I can use that on other things. So I'm able to better pour into myself. So when you go about getting on the other side of the broad and what the decluttering process looks like you realize that you haven't poured within in a very long time. So you're now able to do some inner soul sweeping. Who are you? What do you want to do? Who would you like to be? Now, I'm not talking about somebody that comes and reinvents themselves. Now, my name is Yoga Peace and I got a rat tail. No, 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 no. Not talking about that. I'm talking about understanding better who you are. No longer being a rat in the rat race, but being a person on the earth in community with other people. Because what will happen is not only will you look for things that you can learn about yourself, but other people are having this exact same experience. And what I've realized is the beauty of the travel experience is awesome. Like I was in Medellin, I'm in Mexico right now, and you would think, oh, well, you got to start over. It's brand new people and you don't know anybody. And I'm like, nah, it doesn't work like that. Not if you're doing it right. I came to Mexico and it was like, boom, I knew two people. Matter of fact, the first day I was in Mexico, I walked into my building. The first person that I saw in Mexico that spoke English was somebody that I knew from Medellin. Think about that. That is such a unique thing because the travel experience is like, okay, so it's like I'm almost never alone. And then if I don't know anybody here, I've met somebody that spent a little bit of time there so they can put me into contacts and resources and things. So it's like I've got my own little cheat sheet as I continue to travel around the world, no matter where I specifically put my anchor at, even if it's for a short time. These things are so impactful to you as a person because you forgot often how to commune. You guys remember when you used to go to grandma's house and all the cousins used to hang out and things used to be all great and dandy? Remember? What if you had that same vibe and same experience? Now, you may not be blood related to these people. I understand where that dynamic comes from and what that feels like. I do. But when you go abroad and you find so much kindred spirit with people that you have just met, you run into a room and one or two people in that room, you have conversations with them and you either know the same people or you run into a scenario where I've only been talking to you for 5, 10 minutes and I feel like I've known you all my life. This is a little weird. I've had friends that I've just been met recently and I'm like, this is this is like we've known each other for a long time and you appreciate that you're able to tune into that energy. So when you talk about the decluttering your life, what you are willing to give up, what are you willing to give up in the United States for some of these things? You feel maybe confused and consistently run down and tired. You feel like finding friends or finding community is becoming more and more difficult because everybody either wants to just party and turn up all the time, or that's all they want to do. So many people are living a better life abroad that has nothing to do with standing in anybody's club, socialize and focalize only on drinking and partying. These things aren't even most of the things that we get into. Now, each community is different, but the decluttering portion is giving you the opportunity to get to another level of decluttering where you can start decluttering in here. You got to get rid of all that physical stuff and the physical blockages before you can go somewhere. Reset. Reset with good energy. Reset, take your shoes off and in your socks and put your feet on the ground. Go sit at the beach and just look at the water. Listen to the waves. Listen to not a bunch of chaos in your ear. Take a walk and it's be a silent walk. Many times you don't even. When I used to go to the country in the south, like North Carolina, my cousin's from North Carolina, like a little town, Warrenton, North Carolina. I used to go there, and as a kid from Philadelphia, it was the weirdest thing to me because I didn't realize how loud Philadelphia was all the time. All the time. The bus going past, people yelling out the street, somebody's music going past, and they're blasting music real loud. There's just always noise, and I would go out there and I would look up in the sky and I would see one stars, and I was like, I don't see no. It's too much smog and clouds and all that stuff. Most of the time, you can never see stars in the city of Philadelphia, and then it was just quiet. The only thing you could hear was the crickets. That's it. The moment I said something, it was the other something in the room. Now, it's not that deafening quiet. But the peace and the energy that is on the other side of the abroad, the one that they tell you, my mom called me the other day. I saw Mexico and Jamaica and these other places. They got a code, whatever, to for warnings for people to go there. And I said, well, once again, what is a warning for people not to go to the United States? Because if you don't know that, and you know where I am, and you know I don't play about safety, she's like, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, oh, I know. So I tell people all the time, and you know it too. You get a little taste of it. You go on vacation, you get a little taste of it. You go to Jamaica and you say, man, I just love the energy here. Everybody's so nice. Hit you with the Yaman, Wagwan. They hit you with all that, and you just feel at peace. You go to Mexico or somewhere tranquil, and you're like, man, I could just sit out there and just look at the ocean all day. You know why? Because your body craves these experiences. You're not allowed, because of the clutter in your life in the United States, to even get this peace. The time to think, the time to say, I don't got to go back to work in 48 hours. And we just chopped that up. So we know what that 48 hours is really about. You got to go to the bank and the grocery store and probably wash clothes Saturday morning. So what's that going to look like? Is that 48 hours for you? Or are you just doing the bare necessities that you need just to be able to get back up and go to work again? Like, these things are reality. And the energy on the other side is what you guys are starting to crave. Like I said, you know it. You feel it on vacation in such a little bit of time that you can get it. That's why you say, I wish I could travel more. I wish I could vacation more. Because your body is naturally calling for that inner peace that you are looking for. Yet you are not going to be able to get it. Tell me where you're going to be able to get it in the United States. You got healthcare under attack. You got education. It's been under attack and it's continuously going under attack. History, American history is being whitewashed and or disappeared for the sake of, I don't know. I have no idea what that sake of is. We already know Project 2025 is already underway. Where are you going to find peace? The rising cost of groceries and the stagnant wages that you're receiving? So you have even less time and have to spend more hours at work just to be able to continuously barely make ends meet. Yet we see on this other side that without those burdens to just be alive, we're able to tap in with our own self and others on that same journey and say, well, look at what we're doing. Look at us. My homegirl, I told you that, I ran into down here in Medellin. We went river rafting together like 2.5 years ago. We were in a cave. Matter of fact, it's so funny because her and it was maybe like 10 of us. Listen, I am not big on the outdoors. I was out there like, bro, we got to get home. But I had to walk miles to get home. I had to go forward to get to my destination. I could not go backwards. I had to go forward. And we were in the back because I was like, the one thing I'm doing, I'm going to go, but I'm not about to fall. I'm not about to go home with a dislocated kneecap because we're walking through rivers and stuff. And it's so funny because we were just in the back, cooling, talking, vibing, hanging out. And it was such a cool experience because anybody that knows me is like, you did what? Yeah, the energy called me to go river rafting. You would have asked me that in the United States, South Florida, I would have told you that's not my cup of tea, my boy. So I'm not going. But when asked, I said, why not? I'm going paragliding at 5,000 feet. Anybody that knows me, yes, I am tall, but I'm scared of heights. I don't like heights. But I'm an adventurous person. 5,000 feet paragliding, 13,500 feet skydiving. Like, I've jumped off of 30-foot cliffs. Like, I am a doer, even if it scares me. And that is the attitude that you have to take. I didn't have any opportunity to say, I'm going to allow fear and uncertainty to clutter up my life. I'm not willing to allow all of these things that I know I spent a lot of time accumulating. And I know I spent a lot of energy making me think that I was doing something. I was putting myself ahead by getting more of it and consistently staying fresh. What you mean I ain't fresh? Couldn't tell me I wasn't fresh. I get new clothes every week, buy a new pair of shoes. And it didn't mean anything. I still felt like I was empty, like I wasn't living life. I was just on repeat in the rat race. It don't matter if you buy a bunch of clothes or you just feel like every daggone day is Groundhog Day. What are you willing to declutter from your life? What are you willing to declutter from your life, both there, where you are in America, as well as the opportunity to become who you are, really, and be around like minded people? Now, I'm not saying everybody you're going to meet is going to be like minded. I'm not saying everybody you meet abroad is going to be your friend or you're going to feel like I just met them and they feel like familiar. That would be a lie. I know a lot of people I don't care to be around. That's okay. It's still the world. We're all still human. But I will tell you that you will find some synergy in people that do move abroad. You will find some common ground in quick relationships that can turn into substantial and sustaining relationships as long as you stay true to who you are. Because most of those people are going to stay true to who you are. And if it don't work, it's okay. It's okay. Because look how far you've come. Look how much you gave up to turn your life into what you want it to be. So many of you guys don't realize that you have been living your life. It's your life in your car, but you've been in the passenger seat this entire time. America said, buy all this stuff. And you said, America, I'm gonna sit in the passenger seat, drive me down to the store and the mall so I can buy my stuff. And you're just sitting there and you just do it on repeat. America doesn't even have to do anything. I just went through the whole calendar year and they damn near give you one. Somebody go hit me. Somebody let me know what they have for you on the sale for August. But I'm sure every other month, even if it's 11 months, 11 months is pretty damn bad for them to want to generate a reason for a nationwide sale of things. It's not a sale, but it's learned behavior. It's learned behavior over time. It's conditioning to think that once you buy this, that happiness that you're looking for, you're going to have it and you're going to be able to use it and hold on to it. Yet by now you already know you might get it, but it's like trying to hold on to sand. It's just falling through your fingertips. The moment you get it, it's almost like you're losing it. It's like getting a brand new car and driving it right on the other side of the car dealership line and it immediately devaluing as soon as you do that. That is what America has given to you and said, this is the American life. Isn't it grand? I don't think so. I think a lot more of you are looking to better your life, get back to who you used to be. Maybe you never got the opportunity to be who you are. Maybe it's been tough all your life and you're looking for something different. And you make six figures and you still feel like things are tight. Like, that doesn't make sense. You got more money than your parents' generation ever had, yet you don't have any of the ability to have any bare experiences because everything costs so much. We've got so many things that are coming for you guys that we want to make certain that you are aware of. Please go to moodtravelcolumbia.com, MOOD travelcolumbia.com. Over the next couple of days, we're going to be putting some things out, not only on that platform as well as this one, which is YouTube Black Expat Life in Colombia. If you are not there, please go there. You may see some changes in the next couple of weeks that are only designed to give you more access because Colombia may not be on your destination list. But my job as Mood is to give you these other destinations so you don't have to go sit here and do all the legwork. We've been able to develop a blueprint that gives you what you need in relocation, no matter where you go. Connect you with people on the ground that run relocation tours. You guys know what those are? They give you the opportunity to take your tourist glasses off and put some Tuesday ones on. Shows you what actual life is like living there. Apartments, neighborhoods, community life. These things are important. But we want to make certain that you feel comfortable not only with these conversations, but the conversations that you'll see coming out over the next couple of days. You'll also, once again, go to YouTube, Black Expat Life in Colombia. There are a myriad of conversations that we have already had, whether it's parenting abroad, if you're looking in Qatar, Ghana, Panama. These things are already legwork that we've put in. All you have to do is spend the time, watch it at your leisure. We are going to continue to build this empire and this opportunity for people that look like us to actually have resources that will help guide them through what it is that we know and where you are today and exactly how we took these steps to move abroad. Thank you for everybody that has been jumping in my messages, emailing me, tuning in, making certain that you're asking questions or comments in the chats, because these things are one, topics that we will go about covering should you want to see something specific. Two, we like the feedback because that gives us an opportunity to make certain that we are hitting topics and things that you need to hear. Now, some of these things you might not realize that you need to hear. This decluttering your life thing, I spent the whole day on it just because I want you to know this is not, it's not for the faint of heart, because you are going to be forced to look in the mirror and you are going to be forced to make a change. You're going to be forced to make a choice. But the choice is, do I stay in America and get exactly what it is that America has given me? Or do I clip some of these anchors and these ties and start the life and get to the life that it is that I want? Only you guys can answer that. I can only open the door. You have to walk through it. Either way, you guys make sure you guys are staying safe. I will do my best to be back on Monday, and good Lord willing, to give you guys some more information. Keep your eyes open, man. There are a lot of things going on that we have coming out. I'm excited to be able to partner with some of the people that you'll be seeing on some of these platforms in the next couple of days and weeks. Make certain, once again, if you guys looking for free resources, looking to get connected to experts, relocation, immigration, visa help, we've got you. MOOD, travelcolumbia.com. Mood, Travel Columbia is two O's in Mood, two O's in Columbia.com. My name is RJ Mood. I appreciate you guys so much each and every day that you guys show up and come on here, jump into the views, jump into the comments, ask your questions. I am here to help, and I will bring on my further resources to help you guys as well. I do appreciate it. And as always, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys on Monday.